Okay, so this is the kiln I'm going to be working on today. It is a Scott KM1018 and it's a 240 volt single phase electric kiln. So all of these coils around here, like down here where it's kind of popping out, that is what we are going to be replacing. So you can usually tell when these end up going out, mainly because things will overfire on the top or the bottom, meaning, you know, one of them is going, and that means they probably all need to be replaced if they were all put in at the same time, because they tend to weather evenly. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to want to unscrew the side here on the left and open this up. And make sure your kiln is off, please. Okay, so we've got this open, and you can see that each one of these is numbered. So we're just going to go ahead and pull these guys off. And they pull out pretty easily, so just kind of have to give it a little wiggle. And after everything's unplugged, you can just kind of lift this up and over so you can move it out of your way. Okay, so now we're going to be looking at something like this. So the next thing we want to do is you want to take a pair of diagonal cutters, I believe these are called. And you're going to want to cut right between your porcelain insulator here and your barrel connector. So you're going to kind of push this in if you can, maybe pull this out a little bit and cut right in that corner. So we've got this cut. We'll pull this out and you'll see the edges of our elements, and this connects all the way through. So if I were to kind of push this a little bit, you can see where that starts out. So we'll go ahead and do the same on all of these. Okay, so that's all done. And then afterwards, you're gonna find a bunch of little sticks in here like this one. You're just gonna take some pliers and pull all those out. Those are holding all the coils in. So we're gonna go ahead and take those out, and they are pretty much lined the entire way through. Okay, so we got all of them out. Most of them were basically lying in the corners. So if you haven't changed out your elements before, you probably would find all of these like little pins in the corners of each one of your slots. So from there, we're just going to kind of find this edge piece, which you can see it ends like right there. So the next one will connect here and there. So we're just gonna start from there. And it should just come right out. Okay, so we have all of our elements out. Now, it's kind of normal if sometimes a piece like this just falls out. I just take some of these and I just get it back in there. There. Okay, but we do also have a lot of excess that kind of came out from the brick, so we're gonna go ahead and vacuum that up. Okay, so we have our replacement elements. You wanna make sure that you are using the right replacement for where it belongs. So you can see it says center. This is a top or bottom, so I have 2 centers for this one and 2 top or bottom. So we will start with one of these because we'll start from the bottom up. Okay, so we've got this unwrapped. The first thing you want to do is cut off these edges, but do not cut further in. Really just take off just this little hoop here. So now that we have both the edges on these cut, we want to figure out where this goes. So we'll find our opening. We have these 2 here. Now notice that this is the front and the back, or back and front, really doesn't matter, but you do want to see kind of where these indents are and how short that is in comparison to that. These should be pre-crimped or like kinked in areas where they're already like set to fit. So this will obviously go right in here. So we're gonna start there. We're gonna feed this through. So there's a little hole back here. And that came right out this way. So we've got all the new coils in. Each one of those coils should have came with 2 porcelain insulators, a bunch more of these pins, and 2 barrel connectors. So we're gonna go ahead and take these pins and just kind of take some pliers and shove them back in there to make sure that our coil is secure. You always want to make sure you put this at an angle. You want to take this, find your corner, get between those coils, and push it down at an angle. So that way it should be wedged in there. Okay, so we have everything pinned in there. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go here. I just put this guy back on, but you're just gonna take your porcelain insulators, get them through that metal part. We'll go all the way down. Okay, so we've got our porcelain insulators here. Now we're gonna take this piece, we're gonna put it right next to it because this is gonna go on here. You wanna make sure this is pushed in, this is pushed out, so that way there's not any slack. We're gonna line this up. And I always like to give like a couple millimeters in here just because when you do end up having to replace that, getting a spot to be able to cut later is gonna be helpful for you. So I pull out a little bit and I make a mark right in that center, and that's where I'm going to cut on each one of these the exact same. Okay, so I got these cut. Next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna put this guy on there and you're just gonna crimp it down. So just like how I did on this one, we've got that on there. Got a little bit of space to cut later, make it easier on yourself, and that's our connection. Okay, so we have everything set up. Now we just gotta put our wires back. So you're gonna end up with a bunch of things that just kind of look like straight pieces of wire. Each one of them is gonna have a little number on there. So this is 1, so I know this is for the first unit. So each kiln is different, but I know that we have 8 of these little holes here. We have 4 plugins, and each one of these, this goes into the red box, and this goes from one of these to the other. So I would go 1 and 3, and then this plugs in, and I do the same thing for 2, and that plugs in. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hold these together. I'm gonna cut these guys off again. I'm gonna take a wire cutter and strip a little bit of this off, and then we're gonna twist those together and put them in there and crimp them. That's how we're gonna get that back together. So let's get started. Okay, so I got the first one on, and notice that that's 3 down. And again, this is different for everyone, but this is gonna go over here. I already took the other piece off. I twisted this up. I'm gonna put this up here, and then we're gonna crimp that there. Okay, so I've got all of these back in there, and I've put the door back on. And then I just rematched the number with the little tag that's on the wire. So we'll go ahead and close her up. We'll put these back in and we'll screw those in so it stays closed, and we are done.